be real clear about this. When me and my girlfriends here were just talking about this. There is somewhat of pandemonium, right? Just in people acting and people not acting, just confusion, not knowing what to do. I actually heard from one girlfriend this morning and said, is your event still going on next week, which is the 24th, our Atlanta Women's Network event? And I said, I'm not sure, but probably not, but I'll let you know. And just the amount of frenzy that was in her voice, anxiety, and I was sleeping. I said, listen, it's going to be okay. When we have lemons, we make lemonade. This is one of the reasons why I'm calling this the lemonade series, because we as girlfriends have to be able to make lemonade. Things are going to happen in life that you do not expect. So what do? You turn it to the positive. I said to her, well, listen, you're going through a life transition where you're moving. When else in your life will you ever have the time that nothing is going on but what you have going on? There's no meetings you got to rush to, no clients you got to rush to, no breakfasts, no lunches, none of that stuff, right? This is an optimum opportunity for us as girlfriends and us as women, because, many things that happen in our households, in our lives, we sort of control it, right? But it's time for us as leaders, as women, to take our positions and really just trust that the processes, everything that's supposed to happen is going to happen. I still stay prayerful. We all want to stay prayerful, but let's just consider resilience, right? And look at the positive things that are going on. So what we as League of Girlfriends decided to do is make this virtual. We do gatherings anyway, right? So it's a social organization. That's what the League of Girlfriends is. A social organization where we get together socially. Our slogan is, it's not business, it's personal. But we all know you have to get personal to get to the business. So we would typically be doing things in person like luncheons and socials and things like that. And we said, this is not the time for that. Right? So we don't want to be in pandemonium, but we also want to use common sense, right? And I heard Dannella say this earlier. She spoke about this last week on one of her lives about when you're planning events, let's just use common sense with it, right? We got to keep washing our hands. We got to do things they're telling us to do. We have to keep our family safe. And now many of us that have young kids in the house, now we are homeschool moms. So there's another job, right, Dannella? Something else is coming on to us. So now we have to get into the sphere of, okay, I have to teach my kid at home when I'm usually taking them to school. And we have yet another responsibility. But I'm asking us all as girlfriends, let's just take this thing in stride and let's just get it done. We have an incredible speaker series this week where we're going to meet every day, Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m., just like we did this morning, and then again at 6 o'clock p.m. During every session, we're going to have 2 speakers. It's going to be incredible. And they're going to talk about everything from event planning to be an advocate for your health. We got some people coming in talking about being fashionable. We have some motivational speakers, some inspirational speakers, but this is the time for you to consider you, right? Because just like on the airplane, you have to put that oxygen mask on you first. If you don't put the oxygen mask on you, then how are you going to be able to support and help everybody else? This is the place where we're making lemonade. This is the place where we're renewing our energy. This is the place where you can meet up with girlfriends and just sit back, laugh. We're going to have lots of fun here today. I'm sure these are some comical ladies I have here, some very informational ladies. And I'm looking forward to them sharing what they have to share with you today. And then as we go throughout the week. So I'm going to encourage you guys to please do attend each session, or as many as you can. You're going to get some great tips. This is going to be a wonderful week. And this is just the beginning. Now, this is week 1 of virtual Super Girlfriends gatherings. These are my Super Girlfriends. I sort of put a call out on Facebook and said, who's a Super Girlfriend? Who wants to join me? And yesterday we had a call with like 23 BIGs, which are very important girlfriends. And this is just a wonderful opportunity for us to get together virtually, and you can see a lot of our VIG's faces this way, and also understand the things that they offer to you. I believe that every woman needs a girlfriend. I believe that every girlfriend needs these girlfriends that are on here today. So without further ado, we're going to get started. We're going to start with Dr. Jerrica Dodd. Dr. Jerrica happens to be a platinum VIG with the League of Girlfriends, you guys. She took it to the next level. I always call her all in. When we get together with Dr. Jerrica, I say, everybody say all in. All in, right? Because Dr. Jerrica is definitely all in. she's one of those ladies, and those of you that know me know that if I find a woman or even a guy that has a service or a product or something to offer to my girlfriends, I will hound you down like a dog. So Dr. Jerrica is a perfect example of that. I kept on going after her and going. I saw her speak at a networking event. It was a small little event, but then when I found out her story and I found out that she is a true advocate for her health and her, oh my God, her journey is just incredible. But I knew she had a service, she had a mission, she had a testimony, she had incredible things to share with girlfriends, and she has really turned our lives upside down. She's spoken to a lot at a lot of our events, and here she is with us today on our very first day, our very first speaker. And I'd love to introduce you to Dr. Jerrica Dodd.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone. And this morning, I want to share how to be the CEO of your health during this doggone situation that the world is in. It's very important that just in general, but definitely during this time, that your immune system is strong. Sometimes when we are thinking about getting food, taking care of our loved ones, we're really not thinking directly about our immune system. And if you think about your immune system, it's what protects you every day from all the germs and bugs and viruses that you come into contact with. So now that everyone is asked to stay away, be distant, stay home, oh my gosh, it is still important for you to focus on your immune system. So let me give you 10 ways that you can take care of your immune system, boost your immune system, and then I'll talk when we get a little further on how you can connect with me. So one of the first things I want to talk about, because I'm having to implement all these things for myself, so don't think that I'm, telling you to do as I say and not as I do. No, I want you to do as I'm doing. But one of the things it's important to do is watch your sugar intake. So we're home, everybody went to the grocery store, you bought all the things that you'd love to just cuddle up with in your chair and eat because it makes you feel good. It seemingly reduces the stress. And so you're like, I'm gonna be home for a couple of weeks. I deserve these cookies. I deserve these pies. I deserve this cake. However, I want you to understand that sugar is not good for your immune system. So if you're increasing your intake of sugar, that is not a good thing. It's very important for you not to sit home and eat all the cakes, cookies, ice cream that you can, because sugar is very much a detriment to your immune system and keeping your immune system strong. The other thing that I want you to not take lightly is make sure that you're getting your water. Most of us on a regular basis don't get the water that we need. So when you're home and you're not out and about as much, you don't maybe have as many bottles of water that you can grab at home, you may not go to the refrigerator and get that pitcher and pour yourself some water as often as you should. So definitely stay hydrated. Dehydration is not good for your immune system either. So make sure that you drink enough water. So I know that you went to the grocery store, or maybe you still got to go, but think about what you're putting in your cart. Again, not all that sugary stuff, but fruits and vegetables. And I know that might seem like, oh, well, she doesn't have to tell me that. But I was in the grocery store and I watched people's carts and I saw that they were packing in the pizzas and the sugary things that you can eat. And make sure you're getting fruits and vegetables. And so at this time, it's probably still good to get some fresh fruit and vegetables. However, think about frozen. I would say the next would be frozen. After fresh, if you can get some fresh, but that's only going to last so long. Think about frozen fruit and vegetables. You can use them in smoothies. You can steam them. But you want to make sure that you're still getting the rainbow of color in your diet while you're home, because most of that stuff that has all the sugar in it is not the rainbow of color unless it's artificial. So think about getting enough of fresh fruit and vegetables in your diet while you're home. The other thing that I want to encourage you to do to boost your immune system is to exercise. It's really easy when you have to be home for a while to sit still. to sit still, you're watching TV, you're on your computer, you're working from home, but are you moving? And so I just gave my mom the suggestion this morning. I said, Mom, while you're home watching TV, march in place while you're watching TV. Stand up, march in place while you're watching TV. Move around, don't just sit, because that's not good. And exercise definitely boosts your immune system. So you want to make sure that you're moving, not just to go to the refrigerator and back, but that you're moving constantly throughout the day and you don't become a couch potato during this time. And it's also really, really easy for those of us who work at home to sit still and be in front of our computers all day, and that's not good. Take breaks, get up, walk around. It's also okay to go outside and get some fresh air. I went outside this morning. It was an invigorating 54 degrees and the wind was blowing. And I was like, I took my dog and we went for a brisk walk, and I felt supercharged when I got back. Of course, I didn't get close to anybody. I didn't interact with anybody. Everybody was out there doing their own thing at the track. However, make sure that you get out and get some fresh air as well. Even if you could just go out, stand in your backyard, stand in your front yard, get some sun, take a break and move around. So make sure that you're exercising and moving, because that's also going to boost your immune system. Okay, so you might not think of it like this, but avoid watching too much news. I mean, I'm getting the news updates on my phone. Yes, I know you need some news so that you have an idea of what's going on. However, it's not good for you to sit and go, how many people died today? What was the death count? Oh, who else? No. Don't sit and watch the news too much. Get only a little bit. I really tend to tune in the evening once I'm done for the day, because I don't need updates every 5 minutes on what's happening in the world and in the United States. Number one, because I can't do anything to change it. And believe it or not, you're stressed when you hear that. When you keep listening to it over and over again, you're stressed, and that definitely will weaken your immune system. So you want to make sure that you avoid watching too much news. The other thing that I will tell you is that it's important to protect your immune system by doing what we've heard called social distancing. So it's important that you don't get the attitude of, oh, I'm not sick, that doesn't apply to me, so I can just keep going on. I've got faith, I can, it'll be all right. Because if you believe it or not, it's that attitude that perpetuates the continual spread of the virus. Most people who get the coronavirus don't realize that they have it for days before symptoms show up. And then all of a sudden, you've been going out, doing whatever, touching doorknobs, touching car handles, touching keys, touching money, touching whatever it is that you're doing. And then you wonder, oh no, we don't want you to be the next case. So really understand that social distancing also is beneficial for your immune system to keep you from coming into contact to all the potential things that could weaken your immune system. So remember, social distancing, it's not just for you, it's for everyone. And it's important that we respect that, because that's the way. If you look at the countries that have had the best success with containing the virus, they have had measures where people were not out and about, still, going about their day as if there wasn't a pandemic going on. The other thing that I will tell you is to sanitize, wash your hands whenever you can. Whenever you come in the house, wash your hands. Whenever, just throughout the day, wash your hands. Sanitize handles that you touch often, doorknobs, refrigerator handles, things that your phone, sanitize these handles and these items that you're touching regularly, because it's very important that you don't pick up this pathogen and that you introduce it to your body. The other piece, obviously, is to keep your hands away from your face, keep your hands away from your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Keep your hands away from your face, out of your, don't even touch your cheeks. Don't lean like this. Keep your hands away, because you may not have washed your hands and you're not thinking about it because it's not something that we do all the time. So be really careful to make sure that you're sanitizing. The other thing that I will say is make sure that you're resting. So I know I just gave, the spill on exercising and moving, but make sure that you're getting adequate rest. Don't let the TV blare all night, all this bad news while you're trying to sleep. Turn the TV off and actually get some rest, because that's a very good boost for your immune system as well. You can use supplements. Oftentimes people want to know, well, what are the best supplements? Just know that this recommendation I'm giving is a general recommendation. I don't know you or your health circumstances, but a general recommendation is vitamin C, vitamin D, and also vitamin A are good supplements to use to boost your immune system. Again, I give the caveat, that's a general recommendation. I don't know anyone's particular health challenge, but those are the supplements that I think will be helpful for boosting your immune system. Finally, if you have any prescriptions, if you're on any prescriptions, if there are any medical supplies that you need, I would go ahead and order those things in advance. If your insurance will allow you to get an extra fill because it's we're in the middle of a health or emergency circumstances, get more the next prescription. Don't be caught without your medicine. Don't let your medicine run out and then you don't have the prescriptions that you need. So I would say go ahead and get those things now. Call the pharmacy and ask them, can you get that filled early? I know I just got my medication, but I want to go ahead and at least get 2 weeks or another month's worth so that I can have it on hand. And I think that insurance companies are making provisions where patients are able to do that so that you're not caught without the essential medication that you need. And so those are my 10 recommendations. I'll run through them again really, really quickly. Number 1, and they're not in the order that I presented them in, but nonetheless, here's all 10. Number 1, exercise and move. Number 2, decrease the amount of sugar that you take in. Number 3, water, water, water. 4, avoid too much news. It's stressful and that will decrease the effectiveness of your immune system. I talked about sanitizing. Number 5, sanitize the surfaces that you touch regularly. Make sure that you are keeping the things that you keep your hands on regularly clean. Eat fruit and vegetables. It's very, very important that you boost your immune system with the vitamins that are going to come in fruits and vegetables. Make sure that you stay away from people. Social distancing is a very good practice right now. Number 5, make sure you, not number 5, number 7, I think is where I am. Make sure that you get rest. Make sure that you are resting so your immune system is boosted. I talked about supplementation. Number 9, 8, 9, somewhere in there, we should be on supplementation. Vitamins A, C, and D are very good for boosting your immune system. And then again, but you want to make sure that you find out what's the best dose for you and your particular health circumstances. And then if you have any prescriptions or any medical supplies that you need, go ahead and get those early. See if you can get an early refill if there's something that you need so that you're not caught down to the last of your prescriptions. That's very important. So those are 10 ways to boost your immune system and 10 ways for you to make sure that while you're home, you are hunkering down, yes, but you're also going to emerge strong because you've been nurturing your body, you've been taking care of your immune system, and you've been making sure that you keep your immune system in tip-top shape so that you can fight and ward off anything that you may come into contact with.
That is incredible. Thank you, Jerrica. Jerrica, since you actually have 7 minutes left, and I was like, what? Maybe, listen, it's incredible. Thank you so much for your tips. And I'm going to come back to some of your tips later on. But with some of the time you have left over, I'd love for you to share with how people can get in touch with you. But another thing I want you to share is that sort of a little bit about how you got to League of Girlfriends. And then also, I need you to share your story, why you became an advocate for your own health. And we didn't mention pharmacist, Mag, right? So I'd love for you just to boast a little bit on yourself and tell people how incredible you are and how you got, what your journey was to get you to become the pharmacy advocate.
In about 6.5 minutes now.
Huh? I got you.
All right. Well, to share why I became such an advocate and so passionate about health, it actually was a personal story. Back in 2015, I walked alongside both of my parents, my father being diagnosed with cancer, my mother having triple bypass heart surgery and emerging from that surgery with a dementia that nobody prepared me for, or prepared our family for. And then 5 short months after my mother and her journey began with her health, I had to have brain surgery. And one of the things that I realized, the common thread through each of those situations, my father's cancer, my mother's heart surgery, and dementia that resulted, and then ultimately my brain surgery, was that everyone needs an advocate. And not only in times of high stress or crisis with your health, you need an advocate all the time. Because I listen to patients that I take care of now tell me about their doctor's appointments and how they are experiencing things, but they don't get a lot of time to talk about it. And in having that personal experience of my own, I decided that I wanted to build something to help patients. I wanted to help patients get the best results for their health. I wanted to help patients get off as much medication as possible. And I know that sounds crazy because she introduced me and said I am a pharmacist, but I want to help patients get the best out of their health that they possibly can. And I believe that part of that is reducing medications. And so as a result of that journey personally, I formed Your Pharmacy Advocate. And when I'm talking to people, I explain that we are a service that allows every patient to have their own personal pharmacist. And a lot of times I have to do education because that's a paradigm shift. Most people think of a pharmacist as the person in the drugstore who's filling their prescriptions and hurry up, why is it taking them so long to count those pills? However, it's very important to understand that a pharmacist can do so much more. And so I work with patients, find out what their circumstances are, what their health challenges are, and I help them, number one, understand what's going on with their health. Number two, understand their medications and their supplements or whatever has been prescribed them to use. And then I also help them develop a plan such that they become in charge of their health and they learn how to have conversations with their healthcare practitioners. They learn how to talk to the doctor. They learn how to have the conversation. How do I get off this particular medication? They learn how to take charge of their health such that they're not just going to the doctor's office and plopping up there on the table with that white paper and going, okay, what do you want to tell me? But they become educated about what's going on with their health. I teach them how to ask the appropriate questions that they need to know so that they're informed. I don't think she would mind me sharing this. Last week, my mother came back from the dentist and she says, and my sister and I weren't able to go with her. She says, well, I don't know why she didn't give me an antibiotic. And I said, well, did she say that you had an infection? And she says, I don't know. And I said, these are questions that you have to ask because now you're home and asking me, why didn't you get an antibiotic? That was a question to ask because I can't answer that. I wasn't there. And then she goes on to talk about what was going to be done on the next day. And I said, well, what do you mean? What procedure are they doing? She says, I don't know. And I said, don't let anyone do anything to your body that you don't fully understand. And so I said, so when you get back tomorrow, because unfortunately my sister and I were not able to go the second day, when you get back tomorrow, number one, your question is, do I have an infection or not? Number two, your question is, what service are you going to perform on me today? And she went back, and so she was able to, and I said, and until you understand it, don't have the procedure. So once she went back, she asked the question, and now when she was able to come back and tell me exactly what they did, and I was like, oh, so now I understand why you didn't get an antibiotic, because she didn't have an infection. But those are the things, and that was with my own mother. However, those are the types of things that I help patients do is, number one, proactively ask those questions. What are we doing and why? And also, if a patient is unable or doesn't feel comfortable, I'm able to talk to that physician or those physicians on their behalf, either verbally or through written communication, so that we can make sure that everybody's on the same page, that the patient is definitely being considered, and the patient's wants, wishes, and desires are being considered for their health. In addition to, like I said, getting you off as much medication as possible.
I love that. Thank you so much for that. Listen, so you still got some time. So you can talk a little bit about League of Girlfriends and how you got to lead. But I just want to say one thing about Dr. Jerrica really quick. one of the reasons why I hounded her the way that I did, I pursued her so vigorously, is because when the first time I heard you speak, we were at a networking event, and you said that you were a pharmacist, and you were getting out of the practice of being a pharmacist because you got sick of patients saying to patients, do you have any questions? I will never forget that. Never. Because how many of us go up and talk to our pharmacists and they're like, do you have any questions? They really don't want you to ask them any questions. It's really like, just go and take your medicine and get off my face, you know. And when you said that, do you have any questions for me? It just reminded me of my experiences, even when my grandmother was sick and my mom was sick and I had to go and get medicines and stuff like that, you know, you just really don't understand. You know, you need someone that sort of knows the pharmacy language, understands, and somebody that is, their whole mission is not to keep you on those medications. There's nothing like an advocate.
Yeah.
And
if I can say,
sure.
I want to be clear. I am still a pharmacist. I'm still licensed, and I do still practice. However, I don't practice in the sense of being in the retail. Right. And so if I can clarify, what I was saying is that most people think of their pharmacist when they go to the pharmacy, they either see their pharmacist in this way with their head down, because the practice of pharmacy and dispensing is a very cerebral function. So it takes a lot of concentration because they're running through drug interactions and making sure that what they're giving you is safe. So I don't want to discredit my colleagues that work in that sector of pharmacy. That is definitely at this point still needed. However, the piece that's missing from that is because of the workload that pharmacist has with the volume of prescriptions and immunizations that they're having to give, they're not able to talk to you as you may need as a patient. And so usually it's the person who's ringing you up at the cash register in the pharmacy who goes, you don't have any questions, do you? Because they understand that they're the front line before you get to that pharmacist, and that pharmacist is trying to concentrate on the prescription in front of them. However, I built my service such that me and the pharmacists that work with me are able to sit and really hear what's going on, sit and really get an understanding of, are you using that the way the doctor told you to? Because you'll be surprised. People have all kinds of regimens that they follow, and they go, well, they told me to take 3 a day, but I just take 2. Or they told me to take 3 a day, but I think I need a little more, so I take 4. Those type of things, people generally are not going to share with their doctor. They will go in there and say, yes, I'm taking it like you said, but the pharmacist is the one that can get it out of them, and they go, well, no, I'm really not. I really hadn't taken it. I said I wasn't going to use that medicine. You'd be surprised at the things that people will share with you or with their pharmacist, actually. So I want to make sure to explain that and clear that up, that is the reason why I think you need a personal pharmacist, because you may not even have questions about your medication until you get home at 10 o'clock at night, because you've been in the doctor's office, you've been waiting at the pharmacy to pick it up. You got to get home, get dinner on the table, get, the house settled, and it might be 10 o'clock and you go, what is this I'm taking? Well, to have a personal pharmacist who knows you, knows your health conditions, knows your health history, who can say, oh, let me explain to you and think about this and watch out for this and consider this. That's what the service is that I provide.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for clearing that up. And I'm going to be honest with you. I did really relate to what you said. Do you have any questions? But I have really, and maybe it's because I'm in Georgia now, I have run into the most wonderful patient pharmacists, whether it's at Walmart, shout out to Walmart, especially now they got this whole health center now over here by me. But I have really run into the most patient, willing to share, willing to explain things to you, even though they know they're super busy. And I can imagine right now, pharmacists are probably super busy. And those of us that have, that may still have surviving parents or grandparents, it's awesome to have somebody who really knows what they're doing, that could really talk them through things in a language that they can understand. So we're so grateful to have you as a platinum BIG with the League of Girlfriends. I'm so happy to have you all in. I'm going to ask you to stand by, because we want you to be a part of the conversation while we introduce our next guest, Dannella Burnett. Now, Dannella happens to be a charter member of the League of Girlfriends. Charter member, what does that mean? Charter members, they're sort of my board of directors. So I have 10 ladies that sort of steer the course of the League of Girlfriends. And they tell me, Angie, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that. No, oh, maybe we should do this. Or a better way to look at it is this. And I'm going to tell you one thing in particular Dannella did for me. I like to consider myself a pretty business savvy girl. I'm business minded. But a lot of times, even as I'm a coach, I consider myself the girlfriend's action coach, because a lot of us have ideas and things we want to do, but it's that execution that gets in the way, right? So being a sound business mind is what I think I am. You know, you think you're steering your own course and you sort of know some of your own answers. And then you have somebody walk in the door and tells you exact same thing you may have just told a client. And you're saying, wait, I just said, what the hootie, what's going on here? But the reason why that happens is because you're not your own coach. You're not your own client. And sometimes it takes for girlfriends and charter girlfriends and platinum VIGs and just girlfriends we're hanging out with to tell you the stuff just makes absolute common sense. And Dannella, I don't know if you know this or not, we were at a charter members meeting. We try to meet at least 4 times a year to talk over the goals of the League of Girlfriends and what direction we're going on and things like that. And I was using my slogan that I always do. I would say, well, League of Girlfriends is not just for business women, although, well, not for business women. We've got, at this point, I don't know, I think we had 100, maybe 200 members. Right now, we're at almost 335. Thank you very much, because that was only a few months ago. But when we were in this conversation, I was just really stern about, this is an organization not just for business women, that we have stay-at-home moms. And Dannella said, well, what's the percentage of stay-at-home moms? I said, well, probably like maybe 3 to 5%. So in her saying that, it made me realize that, and then Dannella also said, or Adeline, I think said, so where exactly are you getting most of your members from? I said, well, when I go out business networking, right? So, duh. Common sense sometimes ain't common, but it takes a charter member like Dannella and like Adeline and some of our other charter girlfriends to say to me, Angie, let's really look at the population. Who are really, really serving here? Now, do we welcome all girlfriends? We absolutely do. But what we have is like-minded girlfriends. And the example I use is that all of our girlfriends do not own business, but they're all business minded. I always use Sharita as a perfect example. Sharita Itzadeh is on our board. She's a charter girlfriend as well, right? As a charter member. And Sharita's a stay-at-home mom. She has 3 beautiful girls that she takes care of, but she also is an engineer. So you see what I'm saying? She's business minded. So thank you, Dannella, for all of the advice you've given. Thank you for steering this beautiful cruise ship we have. Maybe we should use cruise ship. This beautiful yacht that we have called League of Girlfriends.
Cruises will be back at some point.
Yes, they'll all be back. We'll all be back. Dannella happens to be in the midst of, I won't even say an evolution. I love it when girlfriends take their businesses to a whole nother level, and what some people might think a different direction. So we might think that people are going in different directions, but I'm going to tell you that all along God had that steering inside of them. Right? So the things that come out of us are oftentimes things that we're just sitting on in that belly, waiting for an opportunity to break through, just like Dr. Jerrica with her becoming a pharmacy advocate, and just like her publishing a magazine that she did not mention called Pharmacist, which is an incredible venture as well. And by the things she's doing, getting other female pharmacists together, and this whole, she's got an entire movement, just as Dannella does. Dannella was already a force to be reckoned with up in Gwinnett and all over Atlanta. If you don't know Dannella, I don't know which rock you're hiding underneath. She does some of the biggest events all around Atlanta. Have you ever heard of Lake Lanier's Lantern Show? That's Dannella. On top of, she has thousands of clients and lots of years in event planning, and also still owns her own business, but she is evolving somewhat, and this is one of the things she is going to talk about today, and she is perfectly positioned. I love to say that your gifts are sufficient. That's from the Bible, right?
Thank you.
And you can walk in that thing. Every single thing you need, you already have, and that's a perfect example of explaining Dannella. Dannella, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be together today and sharing. And Jerrica, thank you so much for those tips. Obviously, you know, a lot of common sense in there, but common sense is what we need more than anything else in walking through this really just unprecedented time in our history. We are going to come out the other side of this, and we have some choices in our personal life, in our professional life, in our mindset, in our physical body. We have, and the choices that we make today are absolutely going to determine how we walk out of this, how our families walk out of this, how our businesses walk out of this. And a lot of it is common sense that we need to be taking right now. And sometimes we just need a little reminder of exactly what is common sense. Because if you listen to the news today, which, oh my gosh, there was at one point yesterday, I just said, I want to just turn all this off for a few minutes. Like, I have more than enough information to handle for this moment. And you know, the only way that I could get away with it is I turned the TV off, I turned my phone off, I got off social media, and I sat and I watched a movie with my family. We just completely disconnected from everyone else for a few minutes. And I tell you, from a mental standpoint, it was the best thing that we could have done for a few minutes. And just common sense. You know, we need to be getting the information from reliable sources to make good choices today. But disconnecting and just using your common sense is will take us very, very far during this time. So, you know, as Angie mentioned, you know, I am in the event world, and I think probably as an industry, the event space, the travel space is probably the hardest hit most quickly. You know, when your entire being of let's bring people together, whether it's for vacations or whether it's for, you know, business and personal events, when all of a sudden the entire government in every state says you can't do this, cancel this, we need social distancing. Overnight, my industry has taken a huge hit. From the vendors who provide services to events, to the speakers and the sponsors who were planning to be at events to meet their next customer, to share their message, to be visible, to the event hosts that were producing events for any number of reasons, whether it was to bring awareness for a nonprofit, to raise money for sales, to sell their products and services, to bring together people for education. Literally overnight, we have seen events for the next 2 to 4 weeks, first by choice and then by mandate, we've had to postpone or we've had to cancel. So first off, I want to say, if you're in the event, speaker, vendor, sponsor, you are not alone. And I think that's one of the most critical things to know right now is you are not alone, and to reach out to others who are also navigating these waters, because we will get through this together. A couple of things that I want to talk about for those in the event industry or using the event industry to grow their business. Make decisions with the best information available to you at the time and from the best, most reliable resources. My grandmother used to say, there's more than enough to worry about in today without adding things to it. Now is not a game to play with your mind of what ifs and the sky is falling. You will drive yourself crazy, you will raise your stress levels through the roof, and you will be ill prepared to take advantage of the opportunities that are presenting themselves. I am a big believer that every period of challenge also comes with great opportunities and great rewards, but you have to be open to them. So get information, make good choices, but also open yourself up to being flexible, being open to new ways of doing things. And I think event planners are probably in the best position to do so, because we have to always kind of be sitting in that we're ready for something else to happen. Almost every event that we do, even in the most perfect, circumstances when we're not dealing with a worldwide pandemic going on, there's always something that could happen that we need to be able to step in and make an adjustment. And sometimes they're really small, but without adjusting to them and without reacting to them, they could have an impact on a personal or professional event. So we're kind of always in that, bob and weave kind of mindset. So I think event planners are just having to expand that mindset of flexibility. Speakers, sponsors and vendors who serve the event industry are probably among the hardest hit right now, and I encourage them to adopt that flexibility. And here's some ways that we can do that. One, the events that you have going on that do need to postpone and cancel. Now is the time to understand what your contracts say and what they don't say, and to work with your venues, vendors, and other attendees and people related to your event. I encourage everyone to work within a spirit of kindness. We are all in this, and for the most part, the hotels that we've had to deal with as we've been postponing and rescheduling events, the other vendors, most of the time, everyone realizes that we're all in this together, and there is no one entity who either A, is prepared to shoulder the entire debt of this, and 2, has to take the entire responsibility. We are truly in this together, and by working together, we are going to come out the other side. Most hotels that I've worked with and venues are, even though this illness and this spirit of illness that's going on around us is not covered by most contracts with the force majeure clause, most hotels are allowing for rescheduling and postponements to take place. Now, every venue has the option of their own guidelines, but I would encourage you to know what your contracts say, but also go into every negotiation and every rescheduling and postponement with the spirit of we're in this together, and how can we find the win-win for everybody. Next, be creative with what you can do now. I've talked with a few people, and you know, if you're used to being in the live event space and you all of a sudden can't do live events, you kind of have one of two choices. One is to sit down and do nothing, and at some point your business will end. 2, you need to take a look at what you can do now, and it's a great time to really inventory your business. And there's 5 things that I think that you should be looking for. A, what can you do now? What is in your current inventory of services, inventory of products, inventory of coaching? What can you do now that you can continue to do without any change? 2, what can you do now by making some adaptations to the way in which you do that? C, or 3, what can't you do? It's just not going to work right now. It just needs to be put on the back burner for now. 4, what can you tweak, better prepare, make look better? We've got some time now that we've not had in the past. So maybe taking some of your time to update your website, write the book, get the magazine started, start the podcast, lots of things that maybe you've had on the back burner to do, it's time to bring to the front burner. And 5, let's look ahead at the future. Are there things that you can do that maybe you can't service for some time until this time is passed, but you can get on the calendar and you can get deposits for now? So those 5 things. What can you do without change? What can you do with some changes? What can you just absolutely not do for now, put on the back burner? What can you do to make your business look better, feel better, run more efficiently? And what can you put on the calendar for the future and bring in some money now? So those are 5 things that you really want to inventory your business and categorize and prioritize the elements of your business. And with that, you want to be creative. With the what you can do now, but with some changes. Obviously, we're going to have to rely a little bit more on social media and the internet. And to that end, I actually have a second 7-day series coming up starting on Thursday. I'm going to tell you about at the end of this, where we can look at more things that we're doing as event hosts, speakers, sponsors, and attendees to stay connected and stay visible using more of social media and the internet to keep our business going and continue to monetize in this time ahead. But just real briefly, some of the things that we'll talk about in great depth during that second days is going to be podcasts, either starting a podcast or being a guest on more podcasts. Great way to stay visible. This Zoom that we're doing right now, great way to stay visible and connect with people that we might not have connected with if we just sat at home and said, I can't do anything. Using Facebook, Instagram, and now soon to becoming LinkedIn Lives. If your business is predominantly in LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, now is the time to start, if you're not already doing it, being live on your business page or in your group so that people see you, they don't forget about you, and you stay a leader in this period of time that we're in. Now might be the time to run some Facebook ads, get out in front of new people. If most of your business has been done kind of handshake to handshake or person to person, running ads, either on social media or in some more traditional, just you got a new magazine out there, maybe there's a magazine, maybe there's a digital magazine, maybe there's ads that you should be running at this time so that you could be out in front of new people. Virtual events and summits. We're seeing a lot of the bigger events that don't really, would not serve them well to reschedule to later in the year. Maybe their topic is very timely. It still needs to happen now. We're seeing a lot of those events go to summits or virtual events. So get familiar with live streaming and those type of options. And focus on the local. As we move out of this, there may be a lag between when we can get back together at live events and when travel makes sense. So focus on the local. Put events on your calendar in the local. Plan for things 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now. Know what's going on in your local community, because you'll be able to kind of bob and weave and be more flexible. If there's an event in 4 weeks and this kind of quarantine has lifted, you'll be able to get up that morning and say, you know what, I feel good, I feel healthy. This is what's going on in my community. We're okay, I'm gonna go to this event. Certainly much easier to be flexible and make those good decisions in the now than it may be to make some decisions that require you to travel to other places. So know that there may be a little bit of a lag time between when we can get back together for live events and when you travel and are making plans for some bigger events. So know what's going on in your local community, because that may happen a little bit faster for us to start networking again and being back together in person again. Engage in your groups. If you don't currently have a group on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, now is a great time to get your people together in a group and make sure you're engaging with them. You might run a challenge. You might do 30 days of Facebook Lives. The 10 great tips that Jerrica just gave us, that could be 10 days of how to build your immune system. I mean, real short, what she just gave here in 20 minutes would be a perfect 10, 2 to 3 minute videos that she did every day to engage her group. Repurpose your content. The things that you're talking about today, talk about them in different ways. The key is you want to stay visible during this time when we can't be in person together. And you want to make sure that wherever possible, you're doing all of these things to get people on the phone. You still need to be doing business. So getting people on the phone, having sales calls, selling your coaching services, selling your programs, selling your event tickets for months down the road. We still have our next Speakers Need to Speak scheduled for May 7th through 9th. We do know that there's a possibility that we will have to reschedule that. We're not doing anything with May events just yet, but we will make good decisions when good decisions are required. So the 7-day series that I talked about coming up, not only is it going to be 7 days of how to stay visible when you can't go to live events because your event is affected by COVID-19, but we're also including a free ticket to our Speakers Need to Speak event, which may still be May 7th through the 9th. If we have to reschedule it, you'll still get a free ticket for that. Because I do know that live events will be back. Live events are still the best and fastest way to make connections with people. I've said for a long time, 1 + 1 = more than 2 when people are together in fellowship. We understand each other better. Our chemistry of being together, that's just where the magic happens. So we will get back to live events as soon as it's safe to do so, and taking the right steps now to stay visible, to find out and make some decisions on what parts of your business are the ones to focus on right now, which ones are the ones to put on the back burner just for now, and which are the parts to make prettier, make more efficient, make work better. Now is the time to do all of that. So I didn't know, Angie, I mean, that was kind of, the nutshell of, what's going on in the event world and some tips on how we can move forward. I don't know if we want to, we don't have a lot of attendees direct on the Zoom, but I'm not looking at the Facebook Live. If we have some questions, I'd be happy to address them. If not, we'll go straight into kind of what's coming up next.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Dannella. Awesome job, Dr. Jerrica. Awesome job, Dannella. But what else would I expect? You ladies are absolutely incredible. I do want to make a few things about your points that you made. This, what you guys don't know, Dannella and Jerrica, what you don't know is I've been talking about this podcast for League of Girlfriends. It's called Girlfriends Are Dope, right? And I recorded 1 episode and I kept on saying, Jerrica, I got to get you on the podcast. Charter Girlfriends, I got to get you on the podcast. Well, guess what? This is episode number 2. So I'm super excited about that. So we're recording here and you ladies are actually my first guest because the first podcast was just me by myself. So thank you so much for that. But I love your points. Figure out what you can do, figure out what you can't do, do something you've been meaning to do. And this is, you got to spin this thing for the positive. We can't all be in pandemonium together. And remember, I always tell you, your babies are watching. It doesn't have to be babies you gave birth to. Somebody else's babies, your nieces and nephews. The world as a whole is watching how you perform as a leader. And the reason why there's not a lot of people in the podcast because it kind of just invited us. I didn't give it out to the world. But I count on folks that are out there live. I have in fact posted both of your offers, your calls to action. But I would love it if you guys could spend just a little bit of time talking about the League of Girlfriends and then also delivering your calls to action. Jerrica, you want to go first? We still got you on mute. Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
I think I'm unmuted now. Sure, I'll talk about the League of Girlfriends first, and then I will talk about the offer that I have. So League of Girlfriends, gosh, it was this organization that I knew that was around and I had heard about it, but it wasn't until I went to the networking event that Angie mentioned, and I spoke there, but I also heard her speak and really got to understand what her vision was for League of Girlfriends. It wasn't just another group of women getting together to network. It was different. It had a different personality. And I said, okay, I'll join. So I joined with another girlfriend, Susan Guthrie, and we said, sure, we joined together. And then I started to get involved and started to meet girlfriends and started to understand what other people did, but not did with regard to their businesses, but not only getting to know them with regard to their businesses, but getting to know them. And I think that is one of the things that sets League of Girlfriends apart from any other women's group, social organization, business networking organization is that League of Girlfriends helps you, one, develop girlfriends, develop relationships with girlfriends, and then two, as a natural second, you develop relationships and then the business piece comes second. And so oftentimes when I'm talking to women that I coach, I'm talking to them about how it's so important to have relationships, to build their network and have relationships with people, and everything else comes in time as you build relationships. And so when the call went out to start the Platinum VIG, I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And Angie and I happened to be on the phone, and because I was preparing to speak for the annual conference last year, and she mentioned, you know, this is something that's coming up, and I was like, okay, well, what do you need? What does it take? And I don't know that she was ready to offer it at that moment on the phone call, but that's how I got the distinction of being the first Platinum VIG, because I love the concept. I love the relationships that I've been able to form. I'll tell you just a little testimonial. Back in January of this year, I had a retreat for my coaching clients, and I wanted to put together some nice little swag bags for them. And I thought, you know, just a little bag. I don't have one here that I could hold up, but yeah, little bag, little plastic bag, the little handle is in the bag. It's cut out of the bag. And I went to the League of Girlfriends and I put out a call and said, hey, would you like to expose my coaching clients to your business with samples, whatever it is that you have to share? And I couldn't even pick up everybody's stuff because there were so many people that responded. I think there were at least 10 girlfriends maybe that responded and said, here, I've got samples for you. Angie came and met me at the hair salon and brought me other people's contributions to the swag bag. So the swag bag wasn't this little plastic bag with the little handle cut out. The swag bag was a huge bag because I had so much stuff that was donated by League of Girlfriends members that I didn't have to put anything in the swag bag because League of Girlfriends did it. And it was, they felt, I titled that segment of the retreat as Christmas in January, because they came and they got all of the samples and what have you. And I just thought it was an opportunity for the women in League of Girlfriends to advertise their business. And so I'm very grateful that I put out a call, and in less than a week, I had things to put in the bag. All right, what do I have to offer? Well, as Dannella was talking about, one of the things that you can do while you're home is think about what you can do. So how many times have you in the back of your head said, oh, I know I need to do this for my health. I know I need to do that for my health, but I don't have time. I'm busy. And this is something that women are guilty of. We take care of everyone else's health and everyone else's needs before our own. So while you're at home, once you've gotten fully informed, you're fully stocked up, you figured out how to school and entertain the kids, then now what are you going to do? I think it's the perfect time for you to check off some of those things and some of those needs with regard to your own health. And one of the things that I would love for you to consider is just having a call with me. You don't have to pay anything. It's a complimentary call. And what I want to know is what's going on with your health. And if I can see a way that I can help you with your health, then I will tell you more about, the services that I offer and how we actually take care of patients. And if not, I'll say, hey, you're doing great. Health is good. Is there anyone you know that needs to get their health in order? But I would welcome you to have a complimentary call with me. And the way that you can do that, and I say that even if you're on one prescription, because unfortunately, people come up and tell me and they go, oh, as if it's a badge of honor, I'm only on 2 prescriptions, 1 prescription. And I'm saying, okay, well, how do we get you off of that? Because I don't know that it's a badge of honor to be on a prescription if you don't have to be. I understand that sometimes that's necessary, but is there a way that we can look to take care of your health and you not have this constant refill every month, what have you, side effects, drug interactions, food interactions with your medication? Why don't we just take a look? So I would love to talk to you and have a complimentary discussion with you about your health. And the way to get on the calendar to do that is to go to this website, yourdreamsareurgent.com. Your dreams, plural, because you've got more than one, yourdreamsareurgent.com. SUPERGirlfriends.com. And there will be several bookings there, but you want to select the one that says, I'm a patient consultation, and schedule that 30-minute consultation. And I would be happy to have that consultation with you or one of my pharmacists to find out what medications are you on, what questions do you have about your health, and is it possible that we can help you and help you understand how a pharmacist can actually help you with your health. So again, I'll say that one more time, yourdreamsareurgent.com. I would love to see your name pop up on the schedule so that we can have a conversation about your health. And as an offer to the League of Girlfriends or anyone who hears this that comes by way of League of Girlfriends, if we determine that it would be helpful for me or one of my pharmacists to work with you, we are happy to extend you a 10% discount on any services that you purchase. However, don't think about that right now. Just that first step, that complimentary conversation. When's the last time, I know it's been a while, if you ever had a conversation with a pharmacist about your health? You probably haven't, and if you have, it's been a while. So I'd love to invite you to that complimentary conversation about your health. Yourdreamsareurgent.com. Look for this, the booking that says, I'm a patient, and it's for a consultation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Complimentary. I know you guys better jam on that. Get on it. Okay, Dannella, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks, Dr. Jerrica.
Well, one of the things that I do know, being in the event world, and I've been in the event world for about 25 years, is that I am not the expert in all. However, my Rolodex, I honestly will tell you, it is second to none. I have the distinct pleasure of being surrounded by some of the most innovative thought leaders, action takers, money makers, exemplary coaches, and business owners around the world. I spent a little bit of time yesterday and put out a call and was absolutely overwhelmed by the people that I was able to bring together in just a short period of time. And we are putting together 7 days and ways to stay visible. It's going to start this Thursday. I have experts coming on over the 7 days, like Suzanne Evans, 7-figure business coach, always in the top 100 business coaches, Forbes magazine. Jay Souter, business coach, speaking coach. Davin Michaels, founder of 123 Employee. We're all going to have to do some things offsite and virtual. If you don't have a VA, now's the time to get a VA. TR Garland, expert in LinkedIn. Lisa Lieberman Wang, top trainer for Tony Robbins for the last 25 years. Michelle McNabb, sponsorship expert, known around the world. Victor Vento, Facebook ads expert. And it goes on. Altogether, I have about 14 experts who will join me over a period of 7 days, where I'm going to moderate, bringing together these experts to bring you the things that you can do and should do right now to pivot in your business, to stay visible, to stay profitable, and to get through this period of time. So if you're an event host, if you're a speaker, if you're a sponsor, if you usually use live events to network, you want to join me on this 7 days so that, just one of these experts could give you the tip that you need in order to get you through this period of time. But the level of experts that I'm bringing together for this, I'm just so excited. So I'm going to post in the chat here the link to register for that event. It's 7 days and ways to stay visible. Now, of course, I'm going to do something special for the League of Girlfriends because y'all are my girls. We are charging $37 for this entire 7 days. Literally, this might as well be free. But I do have to charge a little something because I do have staff and I do need to cover their payroll and stuff like that. So for everyone else, it's $37. for 14 hours of incredible experts and tips and tactics and strategies to get you through. But for the League of Girlfriends, you can use the code MEMBER, and that will bring it down to $17. Like, honestly, my assistant was like, well, Dannella, how are you going to pay me? And I'm like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Because of course my staff is like, do whatever you're going to do, give everything away, but just make sure our paycheck clears.
Right.
But just $17. All the calls will be recorded. It's going to start at 11 o'clock this Thursday. It'll be 11 to 1 for 7 days. And every call will be recorded. In addition to this 14 hours of tips and tactics and strategies, you're also going to get a live call with me. I want to have a conversation with you and just see if we can brainstorm an idea that will help you get through this period of time. Because again, I'm still a believer in live events, but I also know that we need to make some adjustments right now. So if I can help talk you through or make a connection for you, it may just be that that time with me is meant for me to give you a connection to that person who can help you during this time. Or I can help you tweak your coaching, your programs, your live event, make a plan to get through this time. So I'm looking forward to helping all of my girlfriends. I'm looking forward to you joining us. And we're going to get through this, and we're going to get through this together.
We absolutely are. Thank you so much, Dannella. $17.
I know.
What the hootie? Oh my God, that's incredible. And Dr. Jerrica as well giving a complimentary call. Listen, ladies, so I love that they said if you come in by way of the League of Girlfriends, listen, the way I love to say it is if you are a BIG, very important girlfriend member of the League of Girls. Now, we want you all to go to them. Don't not go if you're not a BIG. But if you are a BIG, you get that extra spice, that extra savings, that extra love, because you've invested in yourself by investing in the League of Girlfriends. So some of the $17, some of those extra specials, those are for BIGs. Listen, I love that Dannella keeps saying that we're going to go back to live events, because we are. And listen, you better be ready. You better be ready. If you didn't think about having a live event before now, can you imagine you staying in the house with the crazy people you live with for 2 weeks, for 2 months, what you're going to want to get out and do when you're done, right? So in about a couple of weeks, people are going to be waiting to go to any event, and they will pay. Am I right about it, Dannella? To go to any event, right?
And because there are so many events that are now having to postpone or get rescheduled for a little later in the year, if you are thinking about having an event a little bit later this year, now is the time to get your venue, to get your event planner. I'm happy to get on the phone with you and help you kind of map out, make sure your events are profitable. Angie will tell you, I'm a big believer an event needs to make sense on paper before it will make sense in reality. Even if you just need, some help getting that budget together and getting the kind of framework for your event so it will make sense. Don't wait until this is over to schedule your live event for May or June or July or later in the fall, because venues will be booked, prices may have gone up. Venues and vendors, photographers, DJs, everyone else, you may see a spike in prices in the future because they're making up for some lost revenue at this time. So now is the time to book people. Put a deposit down on a venue, put a deposit down on an event planner, put a deposit down on your photographer. One, you'll keep the economy going, but two, you're also going to be able to lock into some pricing that I think may go up when this is all over.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you can tell that, I'm not saying that everybody else is not as smart as me and Dannella, but Dannella and I are both event planners. I've also been an event planner for 25 years and third-generation florist. So we as a League of Girlfriends, we have our annual retreat. This is the event that Dr. Jerrica came to last year as a speaker, and she's going to be a speaker again this year. So we're super excited about that. Our retreat is May 28th through the 30th. I haven't even thought about canceling it. What I thought about is bringing in more sponsors. So if you know that you are looking for a platform, and one thing Dannella didn't mention to you too, I love to brag about my girlfriends. Dannella has really transformed this segment of her business, and she has a brand new part of her business. I'll just say a corner of her business, because you have to have multiple. We say multiple streams of income, but I love how my girlfriend Tammy says multiple sources of income. I love that as well, right? So Dannella started a brand new company called Speakers Need to Speak. She mentioned the conference she has, but listen, you cannot match her Rolodex. You cannot match the exposure she can give you to you. How about that? That's what the League of Girlfriends is about, reintroducing you to you. Where's that 8-year-old little girl that wanted, all she had to worry about was lay back in the grass and look up at the clouds and see what they were formed, right? But what about the desire she had to be this or to be that, right? Sometimes those desires and those dreams get suffocated because, well, we got to take the kids to school, right? And then we got to do something for PTA, and then we got to go to our job, and then we got to do this for a husband, and then we got to go to church, and all these other things come up, and then slowly we go away, right? We dissipate, we back up, we get into the background because all of these other needs are important, and we know they're important, but we want you to consider you as well. So Dannella, with her Speakers Need to Speak, is an incredible program. She actually has a monthly subscription, which I'm sure she'll talk to you about if you guys give her a call, but she will be her company helps you get on stages. So listen, if you are not a public speaker, even if you're not an author yet, I love that she said get a podcast. I love that you said write a book, because League of Girlfriends, we got a book collaboration. We got 2 spots left. There are lots of ways you can use this time wisely, but use it. Take some time for rest. We all need a little bit of rest. But this ought to be grind time as well, because there are things that if you work a full-time job, and I get it, that's the seed money for this business, right? But whatever it is you do, when else are you going to have another opportunity to chill, right? Just to have some me time, just to figure out what you want to do. What did I want to do? Didn't I want to change my office around a little bit? Didn't I want to update my website? Didn't I want to get new colors? Didn't I want to get a new slogan? Don't I want a new logo? Don't I want to collaborate with some other girlfriends or guy friends for later on in the year? This is the time to make those things happen. I love that you said all those tips, Dannella, and Dr. Jerrica, I love your tips. I am definitely the one that went to the grocery store loading up on all the sugar. Come on, y'all, we got a right to have all these snacks. We're gonna get all the snacks. It's a mess. And now I'm looking around like, where are the essentials? I've got chocolate chips, but I need a little bit more water. And listen, I loved all the tips. I love that you said get rest as well. And this whole avoid the news, I'm not sure if that's gonna work. I know I need to. I'm not sure if that's what, I'm a news junkie. So thank you.
Give yourself a rest from that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially
a going to sleep with it
health,
playing,
but from a business health.
Yeah.
Because you can build into that right now, and just it makes you just want to sit down and do nothing.
Absolutely.
And honestly, now is the time to be thoughtful.
Yes.
To be mindful. Get your news from good sources. And Facebook. I don't know. I love everybody out there in Facebook world, but there's some folks that need to.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. Oh, it's happening because of this. Or listen, it's happening. Let's just be real about the fact that it's happening. Let's deal with it, and let's think. Listen, I love to say this, that so some people were raised with the glasses half full, right? Some people were raised with the glasses half empty. Listen, my mama raised me the glasses spilling over, and y'all just can't tell. Right? So I love to think of the most positive thing that could come out of any situation. And like us being here together is one of the most incredible positive things. Dannella, I love that you're taking some of your stuff virtually. I love to see what other girlfriends out there or guy friends out there are doing, taking your businesses virtually. You will see our flyer. I'll show a copy of it here, but it is available online. These are the other incredible ladies we're going to have speaking in this series, Virtual Girlfriends Gatherings. We're going to keep getting together just like this, keep recording them, keep on having other VIGs, girlfriends. This is a right of being a VIG. There's lots of benefits to being a very important girlfriend in League of Girlfriends, and this is one of them. We provide speaking opportunities for you on and on. We help you build your business up. So yes, it is personal. it's not business. But it does come down to business because we know this is what we're all doing, right, Dannella? This is what we're all doing. So today at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear from Christy Graham. Christy's going to talk about, wow, I didn't know my face could look like that. That's an incredible thing you guys are going to see. And then we're going to have Tara. Tara's one of our brand new BIGs, and she is positioned. I told you your gifts are sufficient. She's ready, locked, and loaded. And she's going to talk about every girlfriend needs a pop of color. And you guys got to be there to hear that. We've got incredible sessions every single day this week. Every day at 11:30 a.m., every day at 6 o'clock p.m., this Monday through Friday. We'll be looking for you guys. We'll keep the lights on for you. We are so excited about this. We encourage you to join League of Girlfriends. If you need girlfriends out there, maybe you moved here from somewhere else and you left your girlfriends back home, or maybe you got some girlfriends and it's time to sort of recycle, you know what I mean? We have incredible girlfriends here that are absolutely drama-free. Drama-free, we have a great time together, and we do a lot of social stuff together. For the meantime, we're going to be doing a lot of social stuff online here. We're going to be having fun, inspirational speakers, motivational speakers. We'll talk about the book collaboration we got on. There's something that you need, and there's someone that you need, and there's someone that needs you. We'd love to have you in the League of Girlfriends. Visit our website, www.leagueofgirlfriends.com, or just hit us up in one of our groups. We have League of Girlfriends groups, League of Girlfriends pages. We're on Instagram, Find Girlfriends. We're also on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear from you. Every woman needs a girlfriend. Every girlfriend needs you. Thank you, ladies, so much. I had a great time with you, and I'm so looking forward to 6 o'clock, and I hope you ladies are going to tune in the same way that I am. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and God bless you guys, and let's stay in this thing together. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.